Today I'm going to share why I'm selling less houses than I once was and what I'm doing instead. My business model that I have for my business that I have been implementing is honestly quite unconventional. It's not like I'm the only one that's doing it this way, that's for sure, but it's definitely not the norm. And it's something I think needs to be talked about a little bit more because I don't know, I guess you could just say like thoughts about an ideal business model for a real estate agent has really, really changed. And at the very end, I'm actually going to break this down into 3 simple steps. So if you want to change your business model and make it a little bit more like this, chill-preneurship, you could say, then you're going to want to stay tuned until the end. You are not going to want to miss anything today. Okay, so today's video is just going to be more of like a laid back discussion about this, I guess you could say. We're going to go a few different places, so stay with me. Don't go anywhere until the very end. I do have I guess a little bit of what I wanted to touch on written out for you guys. So if I'm reading off at all, that's why. You can also listen in podcast form over on Spotify. Subscribe over there. Also, if you haven't already, I have a link to that in the description below. I got my real estate license when I was 18. And a couple years after getting licensed, my husband was able to quit his job and join me. And we became a husband and wife real estate team. We have been functioning as a husband and wife real estate team ever since. So our entire adult life has been running a business together, real estate. Our income has been commission only. That has been our whole adult life. And we love it. We would never have it any other way. I cannot complain. Obviously, there's pros and cons. There's hard days and good days, but I would never change it for the world. But that's not what this video is about. I have always just shared very candidly and openly on this channel about my business, where I'm at, what I'm doing, what's working for me. So I feel like this is just like a natural next video to make, I guess, because it's not really something that I share about that much on my channel. I will share a little bit more about practically what my business looks like right now, but I'm also going to share first the why behind it, I guess you could say, because I think the mindset purpose behind this is important to touch on. From the time we were new, we were always very listing heavy, much more than we are now. When I got my license, I was pretty much exclusively selling listings. The first couple years in the business, I was very cold calling heavy, for sale by owner heavy. We were always top producers at our brokerage that we were with, the big brick and mortar brokerage we were with, until we switched to Real Broker a couple years ago. So that's what our business had always looked like. But here's the thing. You could make hundreds of dollars a year in real estate selling houses alone, but the hustle never stops. When the year is over, you're back at square one. If you stop cold calling or door knocking or whatever you do to get your business, all of a sudden, if you stop doing that thing, all of a sudden your business stops and you have no pipeline. There's literally no exit strategy with that business model. A lot of agents find themselves in this situation that I've talked to, at least, and they decide to start a team, or worse yet, they decide to start their own brokerage, and they are done with the hustle era, but they still want to bring in, the same amount of income that they were bringing in by hustling. So of course, the solution is bring on an agent onto your team to work with the client or open up your own brokerage. I have never heard of an instance where that business model brought the agent the true passive income, slower living lifestyle that they intended it to bring them. They have a passion for helping agents, but they're burnt out now themselves from all the training and the babysitting and the hand-holding that comes with owning your own brokerage or even running your own team. That is what I've seen over and over again. I really feel like I have a solid way for agents to pull back on production. There's a few ways actually, so don't go anywhere because I'm going to talk about them in this video. So that's a little bit of the why behind it. I just don't define success as selling, 50 plus houses a year and working all day long with a ton of different clients. I don't define that as success. I do value making a good income, and growing my business and making more money over time is something I really, really value. But I really, really have been so intentional about finding ways to scale my business and do that, grow my business in a way to where I'm consistently, yes, making more money over time and growing my business over time and increasing my income, because that is important to me. Making the same amount of money forever just sounds super depressing. I want to grow my income, but I also, even more than that, want to scale my business. And I don't think that model is the answer to doing that. Let's just talk a little bit about ways that I've found to do this. And again, if this first way is not it for you, don't tune out, because there's other ways, guys. There's other things we're going to talk about. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so this first way that I will touch on is through a model called revenue share. This is 100% the future of real estate. I really, truly do believe this is the direction that all brokerages will be going. So if you don't like it, I don't think you're going to be able to get away from it in the future. There is literally no downside to this model. I'll explain what it is very, very briefly. Basically just means that when you join a brokerage like Real Broker, for example, that offers this revenue share model, you sign up with a sponsor is what it's called. And that sponsor, that agent, then has a vested interest in your success at the company, which is something I really, truly enjoy, just answering questions, being there whenever agents need me. I truly enjoy that, and it's something I would do for free anyway. But the agent that sponsors you has a vested interest in your success at the company, because then they will get a portion of your commission until you reach your cap. And it's not like you're losing money. It's not like you're making less of your commission. It doesn't matter if you had a sponsor or don't have a sponsor, you're making the same amount anyway. And the commission split and cap is still the most desirable, I think, that I've seen in the real estate industry at Real Broker. So the reason that Real Broker wanted to have revenue share, one of the reasons, is because they really wanted to create and cultivate that collaborative culture within the agents at their brokerage. Their big motto, one of their big mottos is agents helping agents. And I have seen that culture to be so true at this brokerage. And so I think that revenue share has a really bad rap, because it did in my mind too. Like before I joined Real, I said I will never join a cloud-based brokerage or a brokerage that is not cloud-based but has this revenue share model. I hated it. I thought it was just disgusting, slimy, like all those negative words. That's how I thought of it. But at the end of the day, if you really realize what it is, there is no downside, because the agent who I'm sponsoring, who I am their sponsor, they can benefit, because like this agent I'm just thinking of in, another state who I was just emailing with earlier, she asked me some questions and I was able to offer her my advice because of the years I've been in real estate and give her some resources that'll help her. Like there's no downside to her. She has me in her corner. She has me in her pocket. Like we get to collaborate and help and be in relationship. And there's no downside for me as the sponsor, because I'm getting a small chunk of her commission, every time she closes a house. So there's literally no downside for anybody involved. So I don't see why it would be a negative thing, unless it's this like recruitment salesy, but that's not the vibe. That's not it. Okay. So we're not even going to go into that. It's a whole other discussion. We can talk about that later, but I don't want to get too sidetracked, because I don't want to park too long on this one point, because there are other ways to scale your real estate business and pull back and sell less houses and still make money selling real estate besides just revenue share. And we'll get to those. Okay. We'll get to those. I promise. In essence, here's how this works. At Real Broker, you have an 85-15 split until you cap. When you cap, you keep 100% of that commission. But until you cap, that revenue share, that agent who sponsors you makes that money, comes out of that $15,000 split. This does not cost you any more or any less, like I said, to have a sponsor. Why in the world would Real Broker do this? Because they are building a collaborative community. Like I said, you are able to be paid to encourage and support agents whenever they come to you for it. Something I'd be doing anyway. I believe as a sponsor, I have responsibilities. It's not just easy money. I always respond within 24 business hours to any of the agents who I sponsor that reach out to me with questions, that want help or to pick my brain about something. Whether they email me, text me, voice text me, I always respond within 24 business hours. That is something I take seriously, like a responsibility. But, part of that responsibility is doing Zoom calls with agents who are curious about joining Real and like helping them and guiding them through the process. You literally get to be paid to be in relationship with other agents, which is so much fun. Okay, so Real Broker doesn't have this huge advertising budget. They give it back to their agents in this way instead. I'm just going to share a couple quick examples that I wrote down for you guys. I'm happy to break down the whole model and share it with you like in depth what it could look like, but let's just go over a couple examples of what this could look like. If 5 people join you at Real Broker and name you as their sponsor and they all cap, that's $20,000 a year passively for you. If each of those 5 people brings 5 people, that's another $80,000 a year passively for you. Again, you don't have to be living, in your market to do this. You can live remotely. I was in Mexico living there for 3 months last year because of this. If you keep doing this down all of your tiers up to 25 agents, like this person brings 5 and then this person brings 5, and you keep doing that all the way down, the math comes out to like $98 million a year, some crazy number like that. $98 million a year. That's crazy. Like, I'm not saying anybody's going to make $98,000 a year. However, the opportunity and potential is really, really huge, and it is real money. It's not just some, like, I know I make a lot more from this than I would from a single rental property, for example, and people save for years to buy a rental property. So just know that this is a legit way to be able to pull back and still make money every month in real estate, still be in real estate, keep your feet in the door in real estate, but you don't have to be actively like working with 20 clients at a time to be making really great money and stressing yourself out. I know what I used to think about the revenue share model, and I do not think it should have a negative taste in your mouth anymore after my experience with it. I know my sponsor has been a blessing to me, just being able to be in relationship with her, ask her questions, and she'll like voice text me back when I need help or want insight on something. And I hope that I'm able to be a blessing to the agents that I sponsor whenever they want something. I'm always, there. Obviously, I don't know everything. I don't know all the answers to anything, but I'm always happy to at least try to help point you in the right direction or whatever. And just getting to have a relationship and know these agents all over the US and Canada is something that I consider a really big blessing. And this is definitely something that you shouldn't sleep on. I think it's the future of real estate. I truly do believe. Last thing that I will say about this business model in particular, because this isn't the only thing that I do or that I've done to pull back. Last thing I will touch on as far as this goes is you get the benefits of having a real estate team, or I would even go as far as saying having your own brokerage. You get a lot of those benefits. If you enjoy or feel called to being in relationship and helping other agents, you get to do that. However, and you also get paid in return. However, you're not their principal broker. You're not going over contracts. Like you don't have the headache of all this back end paperwork stuff that goes on, bills. Like you get all of the positives of the model that Gary Keller talks about. I talk about this book way too much, but The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. I read it when I was a brand new agent, probably like 5 times. But you get all of the benefits of the model Gary Keller gives you where, you want to be this millionaire real estate agent, here's what you do. And then when you want to pull back, this is the model. It's you start your own team, and this is how you end up becoming a millionaire passively in real estate. You get all those benefits without as much of the headache and pressure and stress that comes along with actually running a really big team. And no, I've never run a really big team myself, but I have heard that from so many agents that have switched from that model to this model. So I think a lot of people don't take it seriously or think of it as a legit thing. It is definitely something to take seriously, and it is a legit thing. I can attest for that. How my business looks like right now. I am focusing solely on evergreen ways of getting business, evergreen ways of lead generation. And what I mean by that is I am only focusing on lead generation that if I take the time to do right now, it is going to work for me next year, in 5 years from now, while I'm sleeping or doing other things. And that for me looks like YouTube marketing. Maybe there's other evergreen ways. I don't know. Let me know what you do in the comments. I love hearing from and chatting with you guys in the comment section. But for me, the most evergreen thing I found is YouTube. I create searchable content that my ideal client would be looking for. This is a way to pull back because guess what? If you ever want to pull back, not sell as many houses, you have created, and I know many agents that have gone this route that do the very thing that I am doing in other markets, like make these searchable videos that people who are either buying or selling houses in their market or just moving to their market and wanting to buy a house would be searching for. So that's what I do. Evergreen content. And these people that I just mentioned, these other agents in other markets, they have literally backed out of real estate completely and now just make the videos that generate them, these consistent lead flow. And then they refer them out. Either they maybe hired a team member or they just refer them out to a friend. You don't have to have a team member, and they get a pretty good referral fee from it. So there are so many ways that you can pull back that I feel like are not talked about enough. But that is one thing that I'm doing. Is I'm focusing on building a big lead generating machine, which is through my YouTube channel called Oregon Homes with Mariah Vetress Crawford. Feel free to go rip off and duplicate, steal my ideas, steal what's working for me and apply them to your market. I don't care. And that's a big thing that I'm focusing on, because I know that's evergreen. I know my future self will thank me, because that's something that I put in the time and effort now. It's still going to be bringing me leads 5 years down the road, whether I'm the one working with the leads or someone else is, and I'm getting paid from them still. As of now, I have been working with 1 to 2 clients at a time, either agent to agent referrals from you guys. Love agent referrals. Love you guys. Or leads that come from that YouTube channel. And then any leads that come in on top of that, like for example, from that YouTube channel, or I just, passed over an agent to agent referral lead, I will then pass on to my husband. If my husband was not a licensed real estate agent, this was kind of always my plan, like eventually to do when I was a brand new agent, even though I didn't know my husband would end up being licensed yet. This was kind of always my plan in the back of my head. And if my husband was not a licensed agent, it's very amazing and convenient that he is. And we work very well together as a team. But if he wasn't, I would still be doing it this way. I would find another agent that I like and trust and know will do an excellent job for my people, because I don't want y'all to stop sending me referrals. I still want your referrals. So if you are an agent outside of the state of Oregon and you have a client needing an agent in Oregon, send them my way. I'd love to give you a referral fee still. But I will take these leads that come either through this YouTube channel, agent to agent referrals, or from my other YouTube channel, relocating, whatever, and I will pass them on to another agent and get a good referral fee from it. That is the structure that I would do, okay? So I'm not working with a ton of clients right now, but I do want to keep my foot in the door in real estate still. So I always have consistent leads that I'm working with, strictly buyers though, because it's just what works for me right now. I did a whole video. I'm not going to repeat myself. I did a whole video sharing why I stopped working with listings. Even though I started out working with listings, everyone preaches that you got to work with listings if you want more time freedom, but I've actually found the opposite to be true for my business. So I made a whole video sharing why I stopped working with sellers. You can find that on my channel. It's in a playlist, I think. I don't know. Working with 1 or 2 or so at a time, maybe more, maybe less, just fluctuates depending on how I'm feeling, my energy, all that, what I got going on. But that's just what I feel like doing. I want to stay in real estate. I love helping buyers through the process. And I love making money, but I don't feel the need to be selling 10 houses at a time. And I think if I did, realistically, just talking to myself, I think the reason would be for like the accolades of feeling good about myself because I'm selling so many houses, if that makes sense. And that's not where my confidence should be coming from. Because if I were to ask myself at the end of the day, like, if nobody knew what about my accomplishments, what would I do and how would I spend my time? It's this model, this right here. It's not selling 20 houses at a time. That would only be like for my ego, which isn't good. Or for example, if I were to ask myself, if I'm 105 years old and I'm asking myself, how would I wish I would have spent my time in my 20, I'm in my late 20s now. That's so weird. How would I wish I would have spent my time back then having a 5.5-year-old daughter, hopefully having more kids someday in that era of my life? How would I spend my time? Well, it's exactly this right here. It's not selling 20 houses. And maybe for you, it is selling 20 houses at a time. And if that's for you, that's great. Like nothing wrong with that, okay? This is just if I were to ask those questions to myself and reflect myself, because this is just the conversation we're having today, guys, about why I'm selling less houses and what I'm doing instead. Because I always still want to be in real estate. I don't want to like, at least for now, if I ever feel like I'm supposed to stop completely, I totally will. But for now, I'm kind of scared to not have like at least a client at a time. You know what I mean? I don't know why. Anyway, if I were to ask myself this question, if nobody knew what I was doing and I wasn't getting any praise of selling this number of houses, how would my ideal day, life, and business look? It's not being completely idle. It's not working or running my business at all, because it is something I have to do. And I do have really large, very, very, very large income goals. And that's still something that's very important to me. And that's not going to happen from sitting there and doing nothing at all. And I know that. So that's not the goal. Don't get me wrong. But like I said, it's not working with this massive number of clients at a time. It's creating a business where we have systems and structure and an amazing routine, or more like daily rhythm than routine, I guess you could say, that includes a lot of room for flexibility. It's working an hour or 2 a day, most days, on things that I'm really excited about that bring me joy because I want to, not because I have to, but that are also growing and snowballing. My camera just died, but you guys know my motto is done is better than perfect. So we are going to just finish up on my iPhone. I hope the audio isn't too different. If it is, just adjust it. We're almost done. I'm going to share in just a second the 3 things that you can start doing if you want to start working toward or building toward a business model that's a little bit more like this, more of like a chill-prenuer type of way of selling real estate without having to follow that old school 1980s brick and mortar hustle, glorifying the hustle style of selling houses. If you don't want to roll that way, don't go anywhere. Your ideal day, like you have to ask yourself, what does your ideal day look like? What does your ideal business look like? I'm still increasing my income every single year, but maybe at a slower pace than if I was going 1000% speed. It's still working with real estate clients at this time being and partnering with my husband in that aspect of our business. It's still taking your agent to agent referrals and doing an amazing job for them. If you have a client needing a realtor in Oregon, send them our way. My husband and I would love to help you. It's generating my leads through attraction marketing. So that part of my business is so much more passive as well. It's also being able to collaborate with and do Zoom calls with and just get to know agents all over the US and Canada, which is something I'm seriously having so much fun doing. So here are the 3 steps if you want to start implementing this today. Start doing some sort of evergreen marketing content that will bring you consistent lead flow now and in years to come. Create systems to make it easy for you to do this marketing content on a very consistent basis. Find a partner agent, someone who you know will do an excellent job for your clients and you can work together with your clients. For example, like there's so many different ways this could look. For example, you could still do the Zoom buyer consultation and then this agent you collaborate with takes the buyer from there. Create some sort of simple, repeatable structure so you don't have to be a team leader, but you do get to be the one not working with 10 plus clients at a time and still making a good income. And last but not least, switch to Real Broker and learn more about the revenue share opportunities, offer free value of some sort to agents either online or in person, and create a community of agents you can be in relationship with and basically just be paid to be in relationship with. If anyone has any questions on that specifically, let me know. I'm happy to help. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell, and I'll see you next time.